Another day, another story. North Korea, officially known as the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, DPRK, is a highly secretive and isolated country governed by a totalitarian regime. The regime, led by the Kim family dynasty, tightly controls information flow both into and out of the country, resulting in a multitude of mysteries and secrets surrounding its internal workings and society. Some of these mysteries include its nuclear program, human rights abuses, and the exact nature of its leadership's decision-making processes. Welcome to Tabo Eminent Channel. However, it's important to note that much of the information about North Korea is speculative or based on defector accounts, as access to reliable information from within the country is extremely limited. Therefore, it's challenging to definitively determine what secrets North Korea may hold. North Korea, under the leadership of the Kim dynasty, has been one of the most closed-off and secretive countries in the world for decades. The ruling regime, founded by Kim Il-sung in 1948 and continued by his descendants, has maintained an iron grip on power through a combination of propaganda, repression, and isolationism. One of the most significant aspects of North Korea's secrecy revolves around its nuclear program. Despite international efforts to curb its nuclear ambitions, North Korea has persistently pursued nuclear weapons development, conducting numerous nuclear tests and missile launches over the years. The exact extent and capabilities of its nuclear arsenal remain shrouded in secrecy, but it's widely believed that North Korea possesses nuclear weapons and has the ability to deliver them via ballistic missiles. Human rights abuses are another troubling aspect of North Korea's regime. Reports from defectors and international organizations detail a litany of human rights violations, including forced labor camps, political repression, torture, and widespread starvation. The regime tightly controls information within the country, preventing its citizens from accessing outside news and information and maintaining a cult of personality around the ruling Kim family. Despite its isolation, North Korea occasionally makes headlines for its provocative actions on the international stage. This includes missile tests, threats of military action against South Korea and the United States, and sporadic diplomatic overtures that often lead to negotiations followed by breakdowns in communication. Leadership cult and propaganda. The regime in North Korea has cultivated an intense personality cult around the ruling Kim family, particularly Kim Il-sung, Kim Jong-il, and Kim Jong-un. Portrayed as divine leaders and infallible figures, their images adorn public spaces, and their teachings are ingrained in every aspect of society. Juche ideology. Central to North Korea's identity is the ideology of Juche, often translated as self-reliance. Introduced by Kim Il-sung, Juche emphasizes the country's independence from outside influences and its ability to chart its own course. Economic challenges. Despite its ideological emphasis on self-reliance, North Korea has faced chronic economic difficulties, exacerbated by international sanctions, natural disasters, and mismanagement. The country struggles with food shortages, inadequate infrastructure, and a lack of access to basic amenities for many of its citizens. Information control and surveillance. The North Korean regime tightly controls access to information, censoring foreign media and restricting internet access. Citizens are indoctrinated from a young age through state-run education and propaganda, and any dissent or perceived disloyalty is met with severe punishment, including imprisonment in labor camps or execution. International relations. North Korea's relations with the international community have been characterized by tension and volatility. Despite periodic attempts at diplomacy, particularly in the form of negotiations over its nuclear program, North Korea's actions often defy international norms and provoke condemnation. Humanitarian concerns. Beyond its nuclear ambitions and human rights abuses, North Korea also faces significant humanitarian challenges. Natural disasters, such as floods and droughts, exacerbate food insecurity, and the country lacks adequate healthcare infrastructure. International aid organizations face numerous obstacles in providing assistance, including government restrictions and concerns over diversion of aid to the regime's military and elite. Family dynastic rule. The Kim family has ruled North Korea since its founding in 1948, creating one of the world's most enduring family dynasties. The succession of leadership within the family is carefully orchestrated, with power passing from father to son. Songbun caste system. North Korean society is stratified based on a caste system called Songbun, which categorizes individuals based on their perceived loyalty to the regime and their family background. Those deemed loyal to the regime are granted privileges and opportunities, while those considered disloyal face discrimination and limited access to resources. Songbun influences everything from education and employment to housing and access to food. Black market and informal economy. Despite the regime's tight control over the economy, a thriving black market, known as the Jongmadang, has emerged in North Korea. This informal economy serves as a lifeline for many citizens, allowing them to access goods and services not available through state channels. The Jongmadang also facilitates the flow of information and acts as a source of resilience for ordinary North Koreans in the face of economic hardship. State-imposed ideology and surveillance. Ideological indoctrination is a pervasive aspect of life in North Korea, with citizens subjected to constant propaganda extolling the virtues of the regime and demonizing its enemies. The regime employs an extensive network of surveillance, including informants and secret police, to monitor and control the population. This atmosphere of fear and suspicion suppresses dissent and reinforces obedience to the state. Defector stories and testimonies. Accounts from North Korean defectors provide valuable insights into the realities of life inside the country. These testimonies reveal the extent of human rights abuses, economic hardships, and the struggle for basic freedoms faced by ordinary North Koreans. International sanctions and isolation. North Korea's provocative actions, including nuclear tests and ballistic missile launches, have led to a series of international sanctions aimed at curbing its nuclear ambitions. These sanctions, coupled with the regime's self-imposed isolation, have further exacerbated the country's economic challenges and contributed to its status as one of the most isolated nations in the world. Diplomatic efforts and negotiations. Despite the challenges posed by North Korea's regime, there have been periodic attempts at diplomatic engagement aimed at addressing issues such as denuclearization and human rights. These efforts have included multilateral negotiations involving regional powers, as well as bilateral talks between North Korea and countries such as the United States. Overall, North Korea's secretive and repressive regime presents a complex array of challenges for the international community, from nuclear proliferation to humanitarian crises. Efforts to engage with and understand North Korea remain ongoing, but the country's opacity and isolation make it a persistent source of uncertainty and concern on the global stage. Thanks for watching. Request you to subscribe the channel.